Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to read to you an article from La Traviata, the December 1993 issue. And I'm going to read this to you so that you'll know that I'm not the only one out here who's stark raving mad, as some of you tend to think. I want you to hear that not only have I reached the conclusions that I have reached through years and years of diligent and very, very deep research, but many others have reached the same, and I mean the very same, conclusions. This is entitled Secrets in the Vatican II, the Church and the Secret Societies, A Brief History. Pay close attention, and as always, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you have a tablet and a pen or pencil by your side at all times when you listen to the hour of the time. At a recent Church of England synod, a report on Freemasonry was presented to the assembled clerics and lay people for debate. Several speakers denounced Masonry as contrary to the teachings of Christianity and condemned Christians, especially clerics, who might be members. One speaker even went so far as to attack Masonry as blasphemous because he claimed its central initiation ritual, which involves a symbolic death and rebirth enactment, was a travesty of the Christian belief in the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus of Nazareth. Since its inception, Freemasonry has been the target of Christian wrath. In the inner circle of Masonry, among those who have obtained higher degrees of initiation, there are Masons who understand that they are the inheritors of an ancient and pre-Christian tradition handed down from pagan times. The medieval Masons inherited this secret tradition in the form of symbolic teachings which expressed spiritual truths. These teachings originated in the pagan mysteries which were followed widely in the ancient world. These medieval Masons inherited esoteric knowledge from their pagan forebears, and this knowledge was incorporated into the sacred architecture of the cathedrals. Now, I want you to pay real close attention, because during my series on the mysteries, when I found out what was concealed within most of the altars that were built during those times, and I related it to you over the air, many people called me a liar. And you're going to hear verification of this, what was found, not only within the altars, but throughout these cathedrals. So pay close attention, folks. This is very important. When the lodges of speculative, as opposed to operative Freemasonry, were founded in the 17th and 18th centuries, this knowledge was transformed into the symbolism which today forms the basis of Masonic ritual. With the persecution of alternative spiritual beliefs in medieval Christian Europe, the guardians of this ancient wisdom went underground, forming secret societies to preserve their pagan ideals, and these societies became the mysteries. The two major secret societies which were formed in this period, although they only revealed themselves in a public form in the 16th and 17th centuries, were Freemasonry and the Order of the Rosy Cross. While the Order of the Rosy Cross, or the Rosicrucians, is still a secret society which has received little publicity in modern times, considerable public attention has been drawn to Freemasonry recently. Oh my. The Masons regarded geometry as the most important of the arts and sciences according to their beliefs, Geometry had been taught by a pre-flood patriarch called Lameck, who had 3 sons. One invented geometry, another was the first mason, and the third was a blacksmith who was the first human to work with precious metals. In common with Noah, Lameck was warned of an impending flood caused by the wickedness of humanity and the interference of the fallen angels in world affairs. Lameck and his sons decided to preserve their knowledge in 2 stone pillars so that future generations would discover it. The Masons believed that one of these pillars was discovered by the Greek god Hermes, also known to the Greeks as Hermes Trismegistus, or thrice greatest, and to the ancient Egyptians as the ibis-headed scribe of the gods Thoth, pronounced Tehuti. The so-called Emerald Tablet of Hermes is said to contain the essence of the lost wisdom from before the days of the biblical flood. According to occult sources, this tablet was discovered in a cave by the mystic Apollonius of Tyana, who was regarded by the early church as a rival to Jesus. The first published version of the Emerald Tablet dates from an Arabic source of the 8th century A.D., and it was not translated into Latin in Europe until the 13th century. However, the myth of the Hermetic wisdom had a profound effect on the Gnostics, who were heretical Christians in direct conflict with the early church for attempting to fuse paganism with the new Christian faith. They also claimed to possess the secret teachings of Jesus, divulged to only his inner circle of disciples. Masons claimed these teachings were censored from the authorized version of the New Testament, which was approved by the church councils who met to decide the structure and dogma of early Christianity. In medieval Europe, Gnostic philosophy emerged in the rise of the heretical Christian sect, the Cathars, and the rise of the chivalric order of the Knights Templar. The Hermetic traditions provided the spiritual inspiration for many secret societies in the Middle Ages, and its influence can be discerned in both speculative Freemasonry and Rosicrucianism. In the Masonic tradition, it is said that Masons were first organized into a corporate body during the building of the Tower of Babel. The concept of this tower was to reach up to heaven and contact God, according to Genesis chapter 11, verses 4 through 6. The fall of the Tower of Babel destroyed the common language spoken by humanity and ended the second golden age which followed the flood. The architecture of the tower was King Nimrod of Babylon, who was a Mason. According to popular belief, the Hebrews received their knowledge of masonry from the Babylonians and introduced it to Egypt when they were taken into slavery. In Egypt, this knowledge was influenced by the mysteries and the occult traditions of the pyramid builders who were versed in the techniques of sacred geometry. The key to the pagan origins of Freemasonry lies in the semi-mythical story of the construction of King Solomon's Temple in Jerusalem. This building was regarded as the repository of ancient occult wisdom and symbolism by both the Freemasons and the Knights Templar. To build the temple, Solomon imported masons, artists, and craftsmen from neighboring countries. Specifically, he sent a message to the king of Tyre, asking if he could hire the services of the king's master builder, Hiram Abiff, who was skilled in geometry. Solomon appointed Hiram as the chief architect and master mason of the temple. Hiram completed the temple in 7 years. The number is especially significant in occult tradition and Freemasonry, folks. But this achievement was overshadowed by his violent, mysterious death. Hiram was approached by 3 fellow Masons who demanded the secret of the Master Mason's word. He refused and was beaten to death. They buried him in a shallow grave. They marked the grave with an acacia tree. His corpse was discovered 15 days later. Solomon ordered that his body be exhumed and reburied with a full religious ceremony and honors due a craftsman of his rank. Early Masons historians regarded Hiram Abiff